This is your radio salvation. Go, 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 go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition. Music is playing. Even our producer, A.A. Ron, is chair dancing today. He is psyched. He is ready. Gypsy and I are ready. Thank you for tuning in to watch this week's episode of Time to Vegas. I am Aaron P. That is Gypsy G. Aaron E. on the board. And everybody out there, thank you for watching. Good morning, Miss Gypsy. How are you today?
Hello. I am good. Although, however, you guys, I don't see the video on my page, just FYI. So if it's not coming up on my page, make sure you go to Time2Vegas page. Because it says error loading. So.
Absolutely. But it is running. I've got my watch party up. My live video comments are up. As always. And a phone that just dropped on the floor by our guest. Which I'll just mention here in a few minutes. As always, this is a show you may want to call in with a lot of questions. Because today's a show with everything that's going on in the financial world and how they're affecting everything from personal to business situations. We have probably the premier financial crisis management individual that knows how to get you in a position to help protect your credit. Mr. Rob Goldstein will be joining us. He may need a new phone after the show, however, because that's what dropped in the. That was his phone. Yes. 702-329-6947. He wrote a book called Taking Charge of Your Debt and Credit. If you can give me my shot there, Mr. Producer, if you don't mind, sir. There we go. So this way everybody can see the book. There you go. That's his book. Okay. Now, please keep in mind, we're not talking financial planning here. We're not talking about taking 10% of your pay and putting it over here. This is like when you're underwater and you need help representation. That's what Rob does. We'll get more in that afterwards. Now, 329-6947. You will want to call in and ask your question if you're facing any situations, as many of us are, or if you're out of the U.S. I don't know how he is with international law, but you can call in anyway, 855-502-4321. I don't know if anybody's ever tested the long distance line yet. Have we had anybody call in using that, do you know, like out of the U.S.? I can't recall anybody.
I don't do the technical part, if you remember
well,
correct.
Have you ever spoken to anybody on the phone that's been outside the U.S. yet? Oh, well, besides Udo. But that was through video.
Yeah. No, I think we had someone else call in from Canada.
Okay.
But you guys, just to be clear, my nickname, one of my many nicknames, technical difficulty.
It's a glitch.
Let's be clear on that.
There you go, glitch.
Glitch, I like that.
Now, you can also send us a live tweet using hashtag Time2Vegas. Shout out to Rafi, my buddy, who's currently at work. He's a corrections officer. And my buddy Rafi, I work out with him. He's actually watching us right now. As always, Rafi, thank you, sir, for everything you do. All right, well, let's get started. We have some things we want to chat about before we go to break and bring Rob up.
All right.
Where would you like to start?
What do you want to chat about? Oh, well, okay. So your week. Let's just sum up.
Oh my God, my week. My twin daughter's birthdays was yesterday. They turned 27.
Nice.
And so we spent the weekend with our daughter. Well, Sunday we went out to dinner. We went to Bob Taylor's ranch house up in the end of, what is that? I forgot the name of the...
Way out there.
Off of Ann Road. Very good. Oh, it's good. Nicely social distance, plenty of space, no
Nice.
issues there. But here's the good news, and we could elaborate this later on if we have time. But those of you who know, it's been almost 18 weeks since I filed my first claim for that wonderful unemployment stuff. I am proud to say that a week from today, not like right now, but a week from today, anytime between the hours of 8 and 4, like waiting for the cable guy, I am due to get my call from the UI department to ask me whatever questions they want to finally perhaps get me going. So
That is awesome.
fingers crossed. So next Tuesday, if we're on the air and I see a 775 number pop up on my phone, you're going to see a streaking shirt go right past the camera because I am going to take that call, and I apologize a week in advance.
I think we should put him on the spot and have him take the call
Oh, no.
live and
No.
just get millions of followers because everyone wants to know how to handle
May-
that situation.
Well, possibly, maybe, but I don't want to be caught saying anything that shouldn't be gone out over the air. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, so that was the highlight of my week. What does that tell you?
That's that speaks volume. Everyone wishes that was their highlight.
Listen,
So
I want everybody to know that I'm feeling for y'all who haven't collected anything yet.
So other than meeting you for lunch, which
Yes.
we'll share
I had a
the
great
lunch
lunch.
part later, I had an amazing moment that I am going to share with you all. And I'm so lucky. Sorry, the video is a little jumpy. I wasn't ready, and it's a new camera. Nor did I expect to have to go improv. But if I did not see this, and if I didn't have a video and just told you I saw what I'm about to show you, you wouldn't believe me. So we're going to roll this video, and you're going to see the most exciting part of my week. It was so cool. And here we go. Think of the Roadrunner and Coyote. What's it? Wile E. Coyote, the peacock one. So
Is this the NBC Peacock?
this is amazing,
Okay,
right?
so there's-
See the coyote?
Right in the middle of the screen. Now, where was this that you took this?
I call it Peacock Park.
Okay, okay. There's the coyote. Now, we just saw a few peacocks, right? Running
Yep.
around there. There you goes a couple. Let's get it. I'm listening for the Batman music behind it. That would be good. We got him on the run, Rabbit. We got him, Batman. We got him circled. He's on the run. Oh, let's hop the fence. Batman, let's get the bat rope out. We're up on top now. Gathering up the rest of the crew. Batgirl. Everybody else.
I swear to God, I could hear them saying
I was
this.
gonna
It was
say,
amazing. I'm
that
like,
is so
wow.
cool.
Look at the coyote running from the freaking peacocks. And they strut away. I mean, come on,
Why'd the
you
peacock
have-
cross the road? To chase the coyote?
Guys, that was
That's pretty cool.
amazing, right?
Like the noise of them guys.
Yeah.
I know,
Why,
right?
certainly. It's duck season, rabbit season. Shout out to my buddy Steve Nagel, who's currently listening back in New Jersey. Steve, I tried crying to UI all these weeks, but now it's finally happening. He just put a message in the chat room that I should be crying to unemployment, but hasn't worked.
No, well, I
something
mean, you
worked.
got the call coming in.
That's right. Something
that's
has worked.
huge.
Did any of those peacocks though open up their plumes? 'Cause
No,
that would've been
not
cool.
at that point. But you know what? A lot of people don't know, and I used to live near Peacock Road, and I'm not going to say, or Peacock Park, well, I also call it Peacock Road. I'm not going to say where that is online. If you want to see the peacocks, you have to call me. They actually sleep up in a tree. I didn't know that. And one day I
really?
was going to go jog the park early, and I'm like, oh my God, what are those big things up in that tree? And then shoo, came down. They
Wow,
come
I
down
never knew
at
that.
sunrise. So yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. I never knew that. See,
Yeah.
you learned something new on Time to Vegas.
Absolutely, and they do walk up and down the street sometimes with their feathers out, but they were in charge that day.
I want to know.
so,
I want to know if any one of them is collecting unemployment from NBC. That's what I want to know.
yeah, they. Oh, ha, ha, I get it.
Okay.
But okay, moving
It's early.
on.
It's early.
Right.
For us.
So okay, let's do some Vegas news before we bring in our guests.
Yes. Before we go to break.
This is I found this interesting. I read this last night. McCarran Airport. I only had coffee this morning,
That's
you
okay.
guys. I don't drink.
That's okay.
They banned TikTok, and they banned WeChat. I didn't know that WeChat was also getting banned. I don't use either because a couple years back they started talking about TikTok being bad. And then they also, on top of that, they were saying that the gun count's been going up of confiscated guns at airports, loaded guns across the country, including here.
Were those
wow.
individuals, though, carrying those guns concealed, licensed to conceal and carry?
Well, they didn't want to talk about that because then the story would be less
That's very true.
packed
No,
with
that's
drama.
very true.
It's just the fact that people are. But
I've never heard of WeChat, though.
I have, but I've never used it, so I don't really understand what it is. If it's the Asian version of maybe Facebook or
WhatsApp,
it's
whatever
a
that
huge-
other one is.
Oh, that's what I thought it is. You're right.
Maybe it's
haven't
I don't
used-
know.
So
I never
anyway,
heard
if
of
someone
it.
can help us out with that, either give us a call or type something in.
Yeah,
Anyway, if
absolutely.
you don't know what it is, you'll never know now. So
If you don't know what it is, you're in good company.
yeah.
702-329-6947 is our local number within the U.S. You see right below my picture. See if I can finally get it right. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. There's our numbers right there.
Oh, you did good.
Yeah, you like
Even
that? I'm learning finally that I got to do the opposite hand to what I see on the screen.
Yeah.
702-329-6947, 855-502-4321. Major Tom, give us a call, your thoughts. Put it in the chat room. Hi, Renee. Good to see you in there. We got a lot of people in the chat room this morning. Aurora, Renee is in there. Fresco-Matic is in the chat room. He did a great show last night that airs here on Go Live every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. called The Fresco Show. We got a lot of stuff going on. More shows coming up down the pike. Real quickly, a programming note before we go to break. As you know, may or may not know, may remember, 24/7 music is what you hear on Go Live Vegas when there is not a live show. It was 24/7 EDM music. And now, because his listeners have spoken and he has listened, we got a new lineup of music here at Go Live. From 3 a.m. to noon, you'll hear 50s and 60s. Great era of music. Noon to 4 p.m., the 70s are on. Disco Mania. 4 to 6 p.m., 1980s Remix Club. And from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m., Club EDM, Techno, and Reggaeton.
Fascinating.
So, yeah, and I'm sure that'll all be on the website, golive.vegas, for everybody to know when music will be airing. So see, now I even more reason to download the Go Live Vegas mobile app.
it.
See how I segued into that? I am a
Yeah, that was
professional. Do
good.
not try this at
That was
home. Now it gives me more reason to even listen much more on the Go Live app. Not just all the great shows like us.
True that.
And we're on
True
YouTube,
that.
right? We're on YouTube.
Oh, can you check the YouTube? Because thank you. Someone just said they can't see it on a text to me. But thank you for mentioning.
Okay.
It's
He
on?
says it's
Okay.
on, and that's it. Maybe that person just needs to refresh. Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, GoLive.Vegas, Facebook, of course. I don't think I'm missing anybody other than, of course, the downloadable app. So, little programming notes. And please share us, like our page, go to YouTube, subscribe to the page so you never miss a video, not just our show, but all the great stuff that Gypsy tends to capture while she's out and about town,
Yeah.
which is a lot of fun. So, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got my friend Steve from New Jersey, from Edison area. I'll give him props, and my longtime buddy through Kiwanis. He gives us what WeChat is. So
Awesome.
I
Thank
knew.
you.
Here we go.
Thank you.
WeChat is a Chinese multi-purpose messaging, social media, and mobile payment app delivered by Tencent. First released in 2011, it became the world's largest standalone mobile app in 2018 with over 1 billion
Woo.
monthly active users. 1 billion, and the
Wow.
company that owns it is a Chinese company.
So my only question is 10 cent in competition with 50 cent?
Well,
Some of you will
it's-
get that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they offer 1/20th or 1/5 of the price. So.
I think we better take a commercial on that.
I
note.
think so. My math skills are waning without school right now. All right, we're going to step aside for a quick break, and then we'll introduce our guest. He'll be
Yes,
sitting here.
you're going to
sitting
love
up here.
this.
You are watching Time to Vegas right here in the Go Live Vegas studios in the beautiful heart of Las Vegas. I'm Aaron P. That is Gypsy G, and we'll be back in 60 seconds.
Old world recipes, old world style, old world taste. Burnt Offerings at 3909 West Sahara Avenue is where the old world meets Las Vegas for a dining experience like no other. Burnt Offerings, where foodies dine.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your sales staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Dirty minds, spinning wheels, chasing girls in high heels, yeah. Viva Las Vegas!
Viva Las Vegas, baby. You know, last week you and I were dancing up
Yes.
here, as folks just saw us doing, and Aaron, and I mentioned Ellen DeGeneres and all that's kind of going on
Yep.
with her. And Aaron posted up on the board, he says, well, what's going on? Let's just say, Aaron, that she's being accused of not having the best work environment. Let's just leave it at that. So, yeah, so it's just every
Wow,
time.
you have a good memory.
I have a brain for Trivial Pursuit. That's the problem. Okay, now let's shift gears into help of another kind.
Yes.
Joining us now at the dais, this gentleman sitting to my right, your center screen. He specializes in financial crisis management, which can also translate into surviving today's fallout from the pandemic. After all, everyone should take advantage of a good financial crisis. Preparing for an avalanche, he's got 30 years schooled in bankruptcy law, but let me tell you, if it comes to dollars and cents and how to preserve your credit and your good name and need a great individual to represent you, see, I watch the screens, to know how to take care of settlement issues. This is the man you want, Mr. Rob Goldstein. How are you, sir?
Thank you for having me.
Turn
once
on his
again.
mic if you don't mind. Say that again, sir.
Thank you again for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Just pull that mic right into you there. There
Okay.
you go. Perfect.
Gypsy, I thought the highlight of your weekend was hearing the music that we did.
The music, that's
did on
right.
Saturday,
That's
you know?
right. That was beautiful. I
Pocket
was very
Aces.
impressed.
There's a whole
That's
nother...
another commercial right there.
That's right.
Yep.
That's a whole nother side of Rob that we'll get into more later on. By the way, Steve Nagel is the founder of the Time2Vegas Northeast Research Division for Time2Vegas. So you're hired, Steve, because I know
You're
your
hired.
price.
Thank you.
You're cheap. That's
Your
why.
price.
All right, buddy. Listen. Right now, you and I have talked about what you do for many times over the last couple of years since
Yes.
we first met.
Yes.
But it seems to be today's financial situation, because of the pandemic, that not only individuals are struggling with, but businesses as well, need help before jumping, like you say, avalanche or jumping off the cliff.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, bankruptcy, losing a home, whatever it is. Let's describe for our listeners and viewers essentially what you do and how we help
I am
people.
their life raft.
Okay. Not the
Beautiful.
Titanic.
I
by the
sell
way.
survival.
There you go. I like that.
I help people survive in financial difficulties, bureaucratic red tape. Help people get through the system. I know how to navigate the system very well.
And what he means by navigate is he knows how to communicate with these people on a level that benefits you and I, Gypsy.
I can get people. I've been getting people money on the various stimulus loans, and those are tightening up now because there's been a lot of people abusing that system.
Yes.
Hard to imagine that, isn't it? By the way.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So, but I help people get funding for things, and hopefully they're using the money for the right sources. I help people keep their homes. I help people reduce their credit card debt. I help people get out of trouble.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That is beautiful, because I know that there's obviously a huge amount of people who are already in trouble, and then there's this gigantic amount of us who are concerned because we're in such an unknown right now. So it's nice to know that help is there as we
There are
dive
a
into the
lot of
unknown.
people that are in trouble that are not facing it yet. They're kind of hiding. They're kind of like we call them ostriches. They put their head in the sand.
Oh,
if my
okay,
eyes are
yeah.
closed, I don't notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's a lot of
I
people
call that the wall in front of me.
maybe
Yes.
they haven't taken their tests, their corona tests yet either.
Right.
So it's like sorry, but it's that type of that's what's really going on, and a lot of people right now. There's a lot of breaks going on. For example, landlords in most areas cannot evict.
Right. Yeah, and
Right.
they just
Mortgage
extended
companies-
that, didn't they?
I haven't seen the final. I think it's extended to the end of the year, but I'm not sure they did finalize it. But I know they're looking at extending.
I got to tell you a
which
small
leaves the
story.
landlord in trouble.
Right.
A small story. I met somebody on Facebook that was in trouble. So
Okay.
I really didn't meet them. I just helped them. They were in trouble, and they got evicted. They had actually a travel trailer. True story. They got evicted from the park they were in.
From their space.
Oh,
from their
from the
space,
space.
and they had it
Wow.
illegally towed to a tow yard.
Jeez.
I helped them get their travel trailer back, and now I'm negotiating a settlement with the RV park. I won't mention any names. that are.
Are they here in town somewhere?
They
or in
are
the
here in
state?
That
town.
was
They are
my
here in town.
question.
So I won't mention any names. Maybe they're listening.
Wow.
And maybe
Good job.
and maybe my Facebook client that I helped out is listening. But I will tell you this though, that you cannot evict people during these times. It's tough to be a landlord, but that's the prices you pay to be a landlord, I guess. You know, you have to deal
True.
with that.
And-
then you could also get help. I'm sorry. You could also get help if you're a landlord and people aren't paying you.
And that's what I was going to say. Now, there's probably more help than I'm even aware of, but I do know, and we talked very little about it, which was perfect because I just kind of threw everything out there that this is happening, but I didn't have ways to maneuver it because I don't have your education. But the mortgage forbearance, so landlords aren't being paid, but they're not paying the bank either. But the problem, probably where you can help the landlord, is when that time is up and the tenant either gets evicted or has to pay, the landlord still owes the bank that money. They might put it on the end, but they owe
it
it.
kind of passes around, sort of like that bogarting thing. So, Aaron?
I got you. No, I'm
You got
listening.
it?
I'm just putting a message in the chat
That
room
was
to
from
remind
the other day.
Yeah.
It kind of gets passed around. So, for example, the landlord can actually get some sort of a break with his mortgages from if he owes money on the mortgage.
Right?
So he can get breaks there, and the tenant can get breaks because they can't pay their rent. But there's subsidy available for a lot of people. I'm not here to sell subsidy loans right now, or this is not
Okay,
this is
'cause
not
I
the
didn't know
purpose of
about
the
those.
show.
Okay.
But obviously, there's tons of money out there for people to help. Some are going the right places, some are not going the right places.
That makes sense.
It's
Let me just throw out a list of areas based on his bio. And by the way, you can catch all the information about Rob on his website. Just go to www.rgoldsteinconsulting.com, and I'll give you a phone number in a minute. But we're talking about things where he's gotten involved in cases like elder abuse. We're talking about situations where it comes to identity fraud scams, bureaucratic red tape, solving estate trust issues, loan mods, student loans being a key one, because that keeps coming up a lot. And I know there was just another extension about not having to pay until the end of the year now. These are just scratching the surface of some of the areas that Rob can represent and help you get your situation more manageable. And maybe even to some extent, Rob, you can get debt situations wiped off without payment in some cases, right?
yes, you can.
So, I mean,
Yes, you can. It's all how to navigate the system.
right, exactly. Because for us navigating the system, Gypsy, you and I, we're just picking up the phone and calling and
Glitch.
praying. Right, glitch. But Rob knows how
Yeah.
to circumvent.
Yes.
Can you give us a suggestion?
And you know what's really funny? You call this time right now a buyer's market in some areas. I mean,
well,
maybe-
Vegas real estate's booming right now.
Booming.
Vegas
according-
real estate, but also there are a lot of people who are struggling,
Right.
And so that you can buy from them really cheap because people are really struggling. Well, it's the same thing with dealing with debt. I mean, you can get out of debt very reasonably by making settlements with the creditors, and that's really what I specialize is making settlements with creditors.
Now, you also help special interest groups at times, like the veterans, who now, of course, we know a lot of veterans sometimes have issue with their VAs getting benefits or whatever the situation is. But you also, and I'm using them as an example because I know you've done this. Obviously, I know you, and it's out there. You actually go to events that are built around having veterans there to learn how to do what?
I've gone to, hosted workshops at many veteran organizations where I help people understand credit and I understand people how to get out of debt.
I'm reading the comment. Did you mean Dieter up there, DETR? I don't know who Dieter is, but I'm assuming Andrew's referring to Dieter, which stands for the Department of Education and Training Rehab, which handles the unemployment benefits here in the state of Nevada. And he's right. They use the word glitch like every other word when they describe why 9 million people are waiting for their unemployment.
Speaking
I
of
have
unemployment,
to give you that one. That's your best one yet. That's
I-
funny.
I helped a friend.
Yes.
Who was wrongfully terminated.
Okay.
And this is probably not the right state to be in for being wrongfully terminated because it's not it's an at-will state.
Of course.
It's okay
But they
then,
denied him
yeah.
unemployment, and I went back and appealed it for him.
Okay.
I got him unemployment.
How long was he with the employer?
Nice.
7 years.
Okay.
Wow.
I got him full unemployment.
How long did that process take for you to do
Yeah,
all of it? I'm
listen
just
up,
curious.
everyone.
about 30 days, and I kicked their ass in court.
Okay. Oh, okay. See,
I was allowed to do
Wow.
that. I went to unemployment hearing, and it was from a major hotel casino area, and I was at my best.
Now you mentioned.
Awesome.
And his comment was, "I'm sorry." his comment after we left there goes, Goldstein, I knew you were good. I didn't know you were that good.
Bravo.
And you've had him on your show.
I've had that person on our
Yes.
show. Oh, I can't wait to find out who that is after we get off the air because I have
We
no
will
idea.
not reveal
No, of
there,
course not.
no.
We will not do that here. But I want to ask you, you went to the appeals court.
For unemployment.
Okay, for unemployment. Now, you're not an attorney.
Right.
So in an appeals court for unemployment, does an attorney not need
I was
to be?
allowed to represent him in an appeals.
In
for
that
unemployment.
situation.
In that situation.
Right on.
I am not an attorney. I generally can't go to court for people.
Mm-hmm.
However, in New York, where foreclosures are judicial, and I have an office in New York, and I spent many, many, many years in New York in my business.
Right.
That because I work really under an attorney, I'm allowed to go to court for clients in foreclosures. I've never lost a case.
Beautiful. Hey, let's talk about what you just said for a second. I learned quite a bit about you right before the show. You have offices where else? New York, Vegas, and
New York, Vegas, Orange County, and now we're just opening up an office in Philadelphia.
okay, so
Signed
you're
the lease
helping
last
people
week.
everywhere. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great
Beautiful.
market for me there.
And then you might have already said this, but once again, I just want you guys to get his credibility here. You've been doing this for how long?
Over 30 years. Actually, I started this about 35 years ago. I used to go into businesses and do turnarounds for them for a few years. And then 30 years ago, I ran into a bankruptcy attorney, and we teamed up to help people to avoid bankruptcy. And of course, he did all the bankruptcy work. And that's when I started venturing into learning the bankruptcy world.
I just want to remind everybody, call in with your questions. You may not be
Yeah.
able to, obviously, to get full support of everybody's situation, you need to do a consultation with them. But if you have a question that pertains to a situation, maybe he can kind of talk to you about it for a couple of seconds. 702-329-6947. Anywhere in the U.S., 702-329-6947. Or use the hashtag Time2Vegas, and that is with the number 2 in there. Send us a live tweet. We'll read it on the screen. And by the way, we have a TV screen now in front of us, and we can watch what's going on in the news. Right now, we're watching a shower commercial. I think it's on CNN. So if something breaks in the news,
I'm not watching it.
While we're ever on the air and a byline,
Who's that?
while the byline is coming up with news, we will share it with you live here on the air. So please give us a call, 702-329-6947. Now, besides your website, how can people reach out to you in the interim?
They can call me at 702-701-2992. And they can email me at rgoldsteinconsulting@gmail.com.
Again, the book is called Taking Charge of Your Debt and Credit. Where can people find the book?
They can download it for free. We can send it to them
Wow.
for free. We have this as a download now.
Do you have to do anything to get a
No,
free
they
down-
just
Oh,
have
right.
to ask for it, and we'll send them the book. It's a downloadable book.
There you go.
It's got that great cover on there that Brandy did a good job getting it on there.
Right
and,
on.
And you could read that, and as somebody once told me, read 3 pages every night before you go to bed. You'll have a great night's sleep.
Hey, one last question on what you were saying, because obviously that's one of the biggest obstacles right now, and we talk a little bit about it every week, is the unemployment and the PUA. So are you saying now the people who are still struggling and haven't made contact with unemployment, they can reach out to you on that case?
There's still unemployment. I basically don't. I don't help people get unemployment. I helped a client/friend appeal their unemployment. I was very passionate about it, that he was actually wrongfully terminated, and I knew all the people involved, because actually I lived in their condos where they.
Oh, gotcha.
So I knew
you
everybody
heard all that
involved.
stuff.
But the reality is they really did mistreat him, and he was a victim. And you can't really. This state is not a employee state. It's an employer-friendly state.
Right.
Right.
Where if
to work.
it was California, if you are the employer, you're a bad person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The man has no limits on what he can advise to you and what he could do. When we come back out of what were you mentioning? I'm looking at our producer. I saw him make a motion. I don't know if he was like trying to catch my attention. No? Do you have a question you want to ask, Rob? You can ask and chime in too if you want. Okay.
He just wanted to make sure you acknowledge the little sound effects he's putting in the background.
I kind of heard something
Yeah.
in that one, but I've heard the other ones.
Where's my money?
There you go. There you go. All right. When we come back, and we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we're going to run a commercial, and then right after the commercial, you will watch a 1 minute and 30-second animated Rob Goldstein, trying to explain what he does for a living. We'll be back right after that airs. Don't go anywhere.
Old world recipes, old world style, old world taste. Burnt Offerings at 3909 West Sahara Avenue is where the old world meets Las Vegas for a dining experience like no other. Burnt Offerings, where foodies dine.
How would you like to temporarily cripple creditors so you could buy time to protect yourself to achieve whatever it is that you need to do? Just like using a stun gun with scenes from a James Bond movie, this video will show you what you can do and learn free information on 13 dirty secrets to trump the creditors and survive in today's world. Do you feel like the walls are caving in on you, overwhelmed by debt and bills? No matter what you do, your world seems to be crashing down on you. What if we could stop, slow down, or freeze time, allowing you to find the right solution? Do you feel that every time you see a light at the end of the tunnel, it's really a train coming at you? What if I could show you how to legally derail that train? You've probably felt as though your opportunities are limited because you don't quite fit into any viable option. Almost as though you're a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, while facing upcoming foreclosures, repossessions, legal matters, or collections. Maybe the answer is simpler than you think, but you can't put things together while drowning in stress and deadlines. What if I could show you how to trump the creditors and monsters that are pulling down on you? It doesn't matter where you live, or how much money you have or don't, your job or your assets. There is a legal way to buy time so you can stop, slow down, or freeze your current situation, allowing you to avoid stress and save money.
Time2Vegas is back with you. I hope you enjoyed that little animation of Rob. I asked him who posed for him in that little video, but he said it was all him. So.
Awesome.
But anyway, welcome back to Time2Vegas. As you saw in that clip, something came up about chapter 13 in there. And I know you guys were talking about that before we went on the air.
Yes,
so why don't you,
I learned so much.
let's keep going with that theme.
Yeah, if you can teach them what you just
Well,
taught me, you're
this
going to get a
is-
lot of phone calls.
This is my first time ever sharing a real secret. So that the secrets of 13 really does denote the fact that this is about a chapter 13. Now there are three types of bankruptcies that actually there's more than three types, but there are three types that most people know about. This chapter 7 is what people want to file when they want to get rid of their debt, but they don't fit into the right category. They have too much income, or they have too much whatever, or not enough whatever. So there's just there's a lot of categories of that they have to qualify
Right.
for: income versus assets, liabilities and assets, and things like that. Then there's the chapter 11, which is generally for big corporations, but it can be individuals that have a lot of assets. It's a reorganization. 13 is what is a 13? Chapter 13 is a mini reorganization for only individuals. They could only have so much in assets. And
Stay right in front of that microphone, because every
Okay.
time you turn, we're losing you.
So sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
And this is the good stuff. I learned so
Right.
much.
I was looking in his book
Well-
to see if chapter 13 conversation
No.
was actually in chapter
Okay.
13.
This
so.
is a secret weapon that I have, and again, this is the first time I'm ever discussing this
Like
in
a
public.
ninja.
Okay, but yes. So basically, all bankruptcies, you can actually file a bankruptcy the day before an event is happening, like a foreclosure or a lawsuit or some other benchmark. You could file it, and you got 14 days to turn in all your schedules and everything else needed. A Chapter 13 is the only one that you can withdraw. It's perfectly legal. You can have a 100% right to withdraw it or convert it or anything else. You get a free card, a free get out of jail free card on that one.
Within
So-
that 14 days?
Within the
if
14
you change your
days.
mind.
Well, actually, it gets even better.
Okay.
You could file that emergency 13. You could stop any actions coming against you, foreclosures, lawsuits, and deal with the creditors, and cut phenomenal deals, and then cancel the 13.
So the analogy you gave me, which was awesome, you've just put up a force field around yourself.
Exactly.
Now you're in your think tank with a professional, so you actually don't have to do the thinking. We have somebody doing the thinking for us, and you get to do that. Okay, what do I do?
You could just freeze. It's like having a stopwatch. and just press it. And
Freezing time.
Freezes time for
That's
probably
cool.
2 to 3 months. And it gives you a chance to really regroup, figure out your strategy, stop the world, stop everybody from attacking you.
Now, why 2 to 3 months when you just said 14 days?
Because the
clarify
process
that.
of dismissing it does take a couple of months.
Oh, okay. So it's the dismissal
Process.
after. Okay, gotcha. Because that confused me.
And it's perfectly legal.
Great question.
It is. I have attorneys all over the country referring clients to me for that. It's perfectly legal. It is certainly fighting dirty, but I'm in the survival business, guys. And what I do is I help people survive, and that is a survival tactic.
I don't know if I would want to call it a dirty
I don't
practice,
either.
because if that procedure's out there, all you're doing is taking advantage of a procedure that exists.
I'm doing what the
Yeah.
law provides for somebody.
Right.
I'm
And-
helping them. Now remember, I'm doing it for them what they call pro per or pro se, depending which side of the country you're on. They're doing it in their name. I walk them through it.
Right.
I help them resolve all their situations, but I also help them freeze time. It's great when you're dealing with a bank error on foreclosure. By the way, contrary to popular thoughts, banks make errors. By the way, guys.
No.
On
Yeah.
purpose.
No.
Who said that?
I once caught a bank that was doing a cover-up, and I got them
There you
busted.
go.
I pulled an Aaron Brockovich on that bank.
Awesome.
True story. I'll tell that story if you want to hear it. But this allows you to stop a wrongful foreclosure and fight to get your house back. And I've helped people get their house back and save their houses over the last 30 years.
Okay, I have questions and a statement, because I got triggered when you said you fight dirty, almost as if it wasn't a good thing. I think it's a great thing, because you're fighting dirty, which is the game they made. The banks, the credit cards, they made the game dirty. They do bad on us. So you're doing that in defense of for us. The
I
people.
walk
think
into a
it's great.
street fight for
Yeah.
a client with a
Street
bazooka.
fight. There you go. That's beautiful.
So, I fight hard for my clients. I get results. You don't lose cases. I've never lost a loan modification or a foreclosure issue, providing, of course, the client really wants to save the house.
Right.
In New York, there are judicial, which is like a lawsuit. They go on forever.
Okay.
I want to mention Rob does offer free consultations to sit down and kind of review your situation. As you mentioned earlier, just give him a call at 702-701-2922. Give him a call. You get a free consultation, or email him, rgoldsteinconsulting@gmail.com. And of course, you can go to his website at rgoldsteinconsulting.com as well. So I just wanted to get that, as you're talking about all this, the consulting part came in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Very important. So the question that went with my big statement, okay, so you're in this force field, right? You're inside of it. And then that's when you're, I love the visual, right?
And
There
NBA.
was a Raise Your FICO Score experience
Commercial.
commercial on the TV, and that's why I'm laughing.
Right
'Cause
on
I guess we'll
time
talk
for
about
ya.
that, but go ahead.
So while we're inside this bubble, that's when you're contacting credit cards to maybe have a $10,000, I'm making up these numbers, $10,000 card, take $1,000 or $2,000 buyout,
Exactly.
or however that works.
I go in as the hero and offer the bank some money and save the day.
Because they know that the person's under Chapter 13, and if they don't cooperate, they're probably going to end up with zero, correct?
Okay, I'm going to share another secret with you.
Here comes a
There's
secret.
A lot of secrets I have, guys.
Secret number 2.
Ninja.
There are some banks that just go away.
Wow.
I've had a client with $150,000 owed to this bank with 3 different credit cards. They went away. Every time that bank goes away. Another secret I'm sharing. with
When you
guys
say go
today.
away, you mean stops bothering them, or going away
The
because they
debt.
close?
The debt.
They wipe it off. That's
They
bad. But
wipe off the debt.
how long before an institution of any kind will take a debt and wipe it off?
Great question.
Oh God, that's just
Yeah.
that's.
It varies, I'm sure, right?
Everybody's different. Every creditor is different.
Right.
How we deal with each creditor is different. Some are easy to deal with, some are difficult. But I will tell you this right now: to get through to the creditors, you have to send in power of attorneys,
Right.
which we have all the forms.
Right.
And we have to go through a lot of red tape to get to the right departments, and it takes time.
Now, even though the banks, and we'll use that following along the example that we were just talking about, they may wipe it off on their end. But as we know with credit reports, though, that balance still may stay active as an unpaid debt via credit reports. those people who wipe off debt don't always translate that information to the credit bureaus.
Debt and credit are connected, but they're two different categories. So, I'm actually doing a workshop recording after the show.
Yep.
And one of them is about credit and understanding your credit, of course, taking charge of your debt and credit. But the reporting on the credit is a different scenario or a different category as the debt category. And you really, in order to help you with fixing your own credit or raising your FICO scores, you really have to have matters resolved with your debt.
Okay.
If they're ongoing, then the creditor is simply going to process another negative 2 or 3 months down the road.
Right.
So even if you improve your credit score with that creditor not resolving the problem, it doesn't really go away.
So
The credit
if
factor doesn't go away.
if someone has the debt part, they've already dealt with all that, but now they have bad credit and they want to get a house, they can come to you just for that part?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Because I know a lot of people in that situation who just haven't figured out how to get their credit score up, right? So that's awesome.
I get a lot of
Yeah.
referrals from loan brokers or real estate agents for that
Oh
matter.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely.
But there's a lot of myths also in the credit reporting agencies, and believe it or not, the credit reporting agencies make mistakes too.
No.
Oh,
Hard
I'm
to
not sure if
imagine.
I believe that one. Yeah.
So
Let me just share some generalized categories that we started alluding to earlier. So let's talk about the fact that Rob can help you obviously with mortgage issues, which we sort of talked about, bankruptcy, debt negotiation, judgment settlements. I want to ask a question about that. Previous time when we talked about that category, if you, let's say the IRS, you negotiate a settlement with IRS, the person who then owes that money, whatever the new amount is, they have to pay that amount in full at that time of agreement?
well, first off, to clarify, I have somebody else dealing with the IRS, and they're usually not judgments in dealing with that. They have liens.
Right.
Oh.
And they have control because, let's face it, it's the government. So I have an enrolled
Them.
agent available. He's on Team Rob.
Team Rob, I
So
like
we
that.
do. So
Yeah.
we use an example that's not tax related. So when you make a settlement on a judgment, it's generally you got to pay the settlement amount to get the judgment released. Sometimes if you're making payments on the settlement, which is possible, and actually I do that all the time for people, the judgment doesn't get released until you've made the last payment. So let's say you have a $25,000 judgment, and we settle
Okay.
it for $5,000 with 5 payments of $1,000 each, just for sake of discussion.
That's a great thing.
Okay, once you have made that 5th payment, then the creditor has 30 days to provide a satisfaction of judgment, which is a release from the lien as the judgment. Now, when I say about a judgment, the judgment follows you normally like a shadow on all your credit reports and everywhere else with the all the county recorders. So basically, you need to have a satisfaction of judgment to remove that judgment from your chasing you.
So once that's there, and then you're the person contacting the 3 different, I'm going to say the FICA and the da-da-da and the da-da-da that does our credit. There's 3 different
those are the right
agencies?
terms. Yes, that's
Okay, the 3
Da-da-da,
da-da-da.
I refer
Like
to
Charlie
them.
Brown's
So
teacher.
you would make that connection.
Well,
Would that be
first of all, there's 2
favor to
different
them?
things here. We talk about the debt first. So you want to fix the debt first. You owe money on a judgment.
Right.
We settle the judgment. We make the payment plan, whatever it may be. That's the first thing that happens. You have to. We're not worried about the credit yet until we've solved
Solved that.
the debt
Gotcha.
problem. If you've made this over, let's say 5 installments, then you have to make your 5th installment. Then you have to go back and get what they call a satisfaction of judgment, which is the release of the lien. Okay. Then you can go
Release,
back.
okay.
Then you can go back to the credit reporting agencies, the da and the da,
I know them well.
which
Okay.
could be Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Thank you. Thank you.
But could be. It may not be though.
Could be.
Okay. And no, it is. And go back and use the satisfaction judgment to get the judgments off of the credit reports because it's now been released.
We are at quarter of. Do you want to go right through to the top since we have a good conversation going on? Or you want to take another break? Or
Let's go through top. Just leave me 5 minutes at
no,
the
yeah,
end.
no worries. We have one other question here that we have. Is it true you can wait 7 years and your debt will vanish?
Great question.
Oh, God, that is a great question. First of all, each state has another secret, by the way, guys. The statutes of limitation. Statutes, not statues. A lot of people call them statues. Statutes of limitations. So, for example, if you owe a credit card and you have not made a payment or used the credit card in so many years, the debt becomes unenforceable. In some states, most states are 4 years, some are 6. So we use those as the rules. Okay, we don't need to go down to the whole country of that. And the creditor cannot enforce or sue you, let's say, for a debt if it's beyond the statutes of limitations in that particular state.
Wow.
But they can still call you and try to collect money out of you, and people don't realize that debt is now beyond the statutes of limitations. Sometimes what the creditor will do is they will call you before the statute of limitations ends and say, you know what, if you just make a $10 payment today, we'll add $1,000 to it, okay? Because what they're doing is they're fooling you. They're fooling you to renew the 4 years or 6 years, whatever that may be. So when I have a client, I'm very careful about they need to not talk to these people and get sucked in to all those scenarios. Now, so a debt doesn't just go away in 7 years. That was a credit report discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 7 years, if there's no activity been done in 7 years, and it's not a tax lien, a judgment, or a student loan or something else, 7 years is a magic number, okay? But it doesn't automatically go off. There's nobody working for you at
Waiting for a
TransUnion,
clock,
Equifax, and
Time's up.
And they're saying, "Oh yeah, time's up for that guy. Remember that guy over there?"
Let's go to the beach.
So let's fix his credit. No, they don't do that. You still have to.
Have to
hate use the
follow
word,
up with
you have
it.
to follow up with it. I'm not going to use the word "fix your credit" or "credit repair."
Right. But you just have to follow up with them to change that.
You need to do
remark
that. You need
as it
to
is.
file your disputes and prove that you prove your point.
702-701-2922. Call Rob.
No,
Set up your
992.
2992. That's what I said. 702-701-2992. Call Rob. Set your free consultation appointment. He can help you. Pretty much if someone calls in from if someone from North Dakota calls you with a question and it's not North Dakota based, you can still kind of help them generally, correct?
I answer all calls and I try to help people. And you know what? I will offer free consultation and I'm here to help people. I do charge for my services. I'm very inexpensive, but I will help people. And I'll
If somebody
give them-
calls you and says, "Hey, I saw you on Time2Vegas," what would that get them? What can we do for them? What can we do for our listeners if anybody calls and mentions, "Hey, I saw you on
really
Time2Vegas"?
good service and good
A free
results.
consultation.
A free consultation and a free download of a book.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There
All
you
right.
go. I want to go a little further into the IRS thing. Most of you know I had retirement money, and I'm asking this on my behalf as well as others. I know a lot of people who would, not a lot, a few people who would be buying houses, but then there's that IRS hovering that they owe money to. What is, and I don't know how much yet because my taxes got extended because of COVID. What is like the most? Give me an example. Like someone owes, I'm going to make up this number, 80 grand. Can it get crunched down to, hey, we'll take 10 cash or 15 cash? Is there like a magic amount?
The IRS deals as well too. Everybody deals and makes settlements. All the tax agencies will make settlements. You just have to know how to do it. I don't really do generic IRS or tax samples or examples, but I have a wonderful enrolled agent on Team Rob that handles that for me. I've done them myself over the years, but I prefer using the specialist for that as well too.
Perfect.
I've
Makes
done,
sense.
by the way, I've done great deals on sales tax, but that's besides the point. You didn't hear that here. Another secret.
What does that mean?
Okay. Sales tax. So people that owe sales tax money when they
Oh, from
when they have a
business.
business.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
another secret, which I won't talk about because I don't want to tell you all my secrets. Okay, and student loans too. By the way, student loans.
Huge.
I can help people with student loans. I need to do an assessment on the student loans. Great question. I need to do an assessment on student loans before we give them the example. So, and I love private student loans. That's where the colleges fund you directly. Oh my God, I love those.
Well, I've said this to you in the past. I've just never done it, but you and I and my wife, we need to sit down because we still have my wife's master's degree loan, and we have a student plus loan for one of my daughters. That's choking us. So we got to sit down.
Yes.
I don't, but I have a question on something you just said, because one of the things that's freaked me out for years is when I run into people like my age or older, like Aaron.
Jeez.
He may qualify for other for some elder deals.
Wow.
I actually think I might be older than you, who say that they're still paying their student loans. I have friends who have been boxed in for years. It cripples them. But you just said there's a difference, or did you just say there's a difference between two different kind of student loans? Is it college student loan?
Yes.
Okay, I've never heard that. You
Okay.
can elaborate.
A
Thank you.
private student loan is when you go to a college and they provide the funding. You pay them directly. So that's a private student loan.
Okay,
It's a private
gotcha.
student loan where the college funds you, as opposed to you getting a Pell loan or Sally Mae type of loan. So a government loan
got
versus a
ya.
private loan. And from my points of view, I love private student loans. And how many times have I heard in my life
Really?
that I got this loan from this ex-college, they canceled the class and they're still billing me. Oh my God,
Jeez.
I mean, that's just
Wow.
like, that revs my motor.
Yeah. That's good. That means you're ready to fight back. He's fighting back on your behalf, you guys.
That's right. Now,
Lots of secrets.
without letting the cat out of the bag, this will be available on your website, but you are putting together some workshops for folks that they can look at. I know a couple of them have been named, but the third one that I know you're working on, you haven't come up with yet, but I know it's in the works. But can you talk about the two that people will see on their on your website eventually as do-it-yourselfers?
We're actually recording 3 of them today.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the intros,
But
right?
They're
Like-
intros. They're intros.
Think QVC.
They're going to be workshops. They're going to be a video discussion of the do-it-yourself kits that I'm providing at greatly reduced rates.
And a lot of it is
Really,
what
really-
we've been talking about.
Things
Yeah.
we're talking about. Things that I could provide for you, for people, that they could do themselves, and I will provide all the forms and the directions and the step-by-steps. I'm going to provide that for them at greatly reduced rates. And I'm going to be doing 3 of those today, recording all of those. Then we're going to make them into PowerPoints after that. And these are going to be on my website, and I'm going to offer classes online. But they can download and purchase them from me online. They can call me up and purchase them. And everything that I'm going to be doing with these do-it-yourself programs, they will have all the forms, the step-by-steps, and free consultations with me on how to get them done and what they can expect.
Awesome. So they buy it, they start going through it, and if they're like me, they're like, I don't understand that part, then they can actually call and get guidance
Correct.
on it. Guys, that's beautiful. I
And-
do a lot
and
of digital
they're gonna
courses,
get-
buy them.
they're gonna
And
get-
I don't have someone to call. Let me just throw that in real quick. I buy a lot of digital courses. The fact that you can call and go, hey, I'm stuck, can you get me over this hump? That's priceless.
And just so you know, that the phone number you gave out
Yes.
goes to my phone, the one that fell on the floor. Well, it may not work anymore.
We may
afterwards,
have
you
a
know.
change of phone number
Yeah,
later.
but no, I answer my own phone, and I give you personal service.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
So
Let me just let our viewers know, we may go past the top of the hour mark for a few minutes because we want to, quite frankly, get as much out of Rob as we can for you, the listener. And there are still a few topics that Gypsy and I want to share with everybody Vegas related. So let me just remind everybody, of course, you are watching Time to Vegas. Aaron P., Gypsy G, our special guest today, Rob Goldstein. He wrote a book called Taking Charge of Your Debt and Credit, which is now free just through the website. They have to contact you?
they really have to contact. It's not. I'm redoing my website.
So how do they get the book?
That is up is an older website. I actually took it off. If I have it under construction, but I put it back on.
So how do they get the book right now?
They basically call me, they email me, they get it. We'll just send it to them. It's just that easy.
There you go, 702-701-2992. You can email them at rgoldsteinconsulting@gmail.com. Request the book, set your consultation appointment, which is a free consultation, and pick the man's brain.
We've had a question in the chat room.
Yeah.
Karen wants to know, University of Phoenix, do they offer private student loans? Do you know that? Are you
Well, I
familiar
can't tell
with
you
that?
which colleges do those, but generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, is that generally private colleges probably offer both. So if you get a loan from the college, if you're paying the college directly, that's a private student loan. It's like a
Oh,
credit
okay.
card. It's really like a credit card.
Oh, wow, okay.
So
It's like getting financing at a car lot through the car lot.
I went
their
to the School of
financing
Hard
company.
Knocks, so that's why I can't give input on here, except for, hey, my friends are
I
struggling.
graduated Phi Beta Kappa from the University of Hard Knocks.
Right?
He built it.
Thank you.
Exactly. So some of the other areas that Rob can help everybody with, of course, is fraud relief. And now that's big with the unemployment stuff, because I read another article today that one address, a lady filed properly and she's getting her benefits, but all of a sudden 3 or 4 more debit cards started showing up at her address under different names.
Oh.
So there's a lot of UI fraud that's going on out there right now. So if you're one of those people who all of a sudden you get a call from UI and you never filed a claim and you're getting dinged and you're getting whatever, that might be something that Rob can help with when it comes to unemployment and fraud.
Or like those guys, that couple who got pulled over somewhere in Vegas with $45,000 in cash and
Jeez.
like 50 different unemployment cards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He can help cut through some of the bureaucratic red tape with some organizations like Workers' Comp, and as we mentioned before, the veterans boards. Business consulting. If you got a startup, you want to know what's best for your situation, turnarounds, maybe you're looking at a franchise. He can talk to you about that. Referrals for taxes, attorneys, and lenders, and as he said, that's part of Team Rob. He's got a bank of referrals and people that he can refer you to. That's part of his network. And trust me, if he's referring you to somebody, you're going to get somebody as good as Rob. So you're not going to get one of these fly-by-night referrals.
And I also oversee it.
And you oversee the process. So there's a lot of areas. It's probably a much shorter list of what you can help, if there is anything beyond those that would qualify to help people, especially this day and age with everything that's going on. So,
Awesome.
We are preparing for the avalanche.
yes.
True that.
And we're not talking about the hockey team, by the way.
No, we're hoping to avoid it, but we're preparing for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're
No,
hoping
it's-
to sidestep it. So, all right. Anything else you want to touch on briefly before we wrap up with some other news and headlines that Gypsy and I want to share? Anything else just off the top of your head?
Thank you for allowing me back on your shows again.
Well, you have to
Always.
thank her. She had to
I
approve
thank you
it.
there, Gypsy.
Hey, thank you, and you're welcome.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you go to his website, if you go to his Facebook page, you'll see a wall of guitars in his cover photo. The man is a musician, and if you want to see what he can do with a guitar and somebody who can sing, go back to this past Saturday's Twin Brothers show, where Pocket Aces made their world debut and live entertainment in studio that day. We had never had live
that was a
singing.
first.
That was a first for us too.
I
So,
thought I provide entertainment just by being
well,
here.
you do, you do. Anyway. Thank you as always. We'll hang around. You could stay up here as we
Thank
go
you.
over these
Thank
topics.
you very much.
If something tickles your
And if
fancy,
anybody has any questions, they can just call me, they can text me, they
Right
can
on.
email, whatever they like.
I can tell you, as far as everything you just shared, I'm excited because I've never had that one person actually call and get answers. So thank you for that. Right? You will be getting my call. So
right on. All right.
Yeah.
So what other news and topics do we want to start winding down with?
I do want to share this really quick before we go away because I have 2 friends, Karen and Gina, who worked on this and brought this information
Absolutely.
to me. So shout out and thank you to both of you. This is about Elon Musk and his it's a weird name, his boring company. And I'm like, what?
BORING, right?
Yes, but it actually means boring holes under the ground.
Right.
'Cause first I'm like, we can't do boring things in Vegas. Get out.
There you go.
Right.
That's right. There's a picture of some of the stuff there I think you're referring to.
Yeah, so we all know, or most of us know, that they are building underground tunnels here in Vegas. They call it the Vegas Underground Loop, and it's going to use Tesla vehicles. I'm not quite sure which of those 2 pictures is going to be accurate, but I thought that first one looked pretty cool.
Those look like cars I used to draw as a kid, that first picture. That little box car.
I know,
That's
right?
what it looked like.
So way past the George Jetson days. I mean, not the George Jetson, the Fred Flintstone
Fred
days.
Flint, way past
I
Fred
went the
Flintstone
wrong way.
days. Yes.
All right, so this so far is a $50 million project, and the only tunnels that are finished, this gives you an idea how big our convention center is, are from one side of the convention center to the other. What? Yeah, okay, so you heard that right.
On which part? The one on the north side of Desert Inn or the South Hall? Or is it something that goes underneath to get you to the
It's
South
got
Hall?
to be the one on I would think just the whole entire one on Paradise.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But you
It's
have
so
those
big.
north halls and the south halls across the street that you have to take a walking bridge over.
Yes.
So
Because
it-
they're rebuilding that bridge. If you walk by, you're like,
Gotcha.
whoa, what is that? It looks like a big futuristic
Gotcha.
project. So Steve Wynn, the Encore, and what's the name of the other new one? I have it written down here. Resort World. They've been approved to get the tunnels, right? I didn't really say if they started digging them yet, but casinos have to apply and pay to get the tunnels. And the goal is that the tunnels will take them from the hotel actually to the convention center in 2 minutes.
Forget about the monorail, folks. The monorail that's up is going to go away.
It kind of
I remember
did.
there was a time we used to tell people that was going to go to the airport and all that stuff, but no more.
Total failure on the monorail. So speaking of the airport, the goal is the tunnels will eventually go to every hotel. It will go to McCarran and it will go to Fremont. They didn't give a time frame on that or how much it's costing each casino. Then the bigger goal is it goes to LA, which
wait a
makes
minute.
you exactly.
Wait a minute. There's supposed to be an above ground thing called the speed train that has already been approved financially in Cali. There's already work on that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well,
but
not
that's to-
physical work, but funding that's been appropriated by the
gotcha.
California side.
But that goes to nowhere. That goes to Victorville, not to call Victorville nowhere. It's a beautiful little town, but it's nowhere for you leaving Vegas, right?
Right.
Then what do you do?
Right.
Have
And those in
lunch
Cali have to
Victorville?
drive to Victorville to get it to come into town.
Yeah, huge benefit for them at least. But no, but so it's going to be interesting to see the battle because let's face it, Elon Musk, he's already took over the skies, so taking over the underground's probably not that far out of
Absolutely.
reach, right? That's what I had to share. Thank you, Gina and Karen.
You don't want to share where we went to lunch? You took some pictures?
Yes, go right ahead.
So Gypsy and I had a little business meeting last week to talk about the show and other things, and we went to one of my favorite places in town, Marsigliano's Pizzeria and More, located on Sahara and Cimarron. This is an unpaid commercial, just a thing of our
Yeah.
experience. We had a great time, social distance, no worries. We sat there for 2.5 hours. This is folks that we've talked about on Twin Brothers over the last year. Great mini pizzas. Look at that face, huh? Chicken and onion. You had the chicken pesto with no chicken.
With no chicken, you
Yes.
guys, that was awesome. Those are like little $5 pizzas. What a great way to
Yeah,
have lunch.
five. They're the personal pans. I think they were what, 5 or 6 inches, like for
Yeah.
$10.
I don't-
Any way that you want them, and of course, all their food is great. And they're coming up on their 1-year anniversary. So happy anniversary soon to be from Marsigliano's, and thank you for hosting. Yeah, put you in my tummy. For hosting us and letting us tie up a booth for almost,
I'm gonna eat you.
tying up a booth for 3 hours. This is our return because we tied up a booth for 3 hours at the height of their lunch hour, and so that's a little return for them. So
Get in my belly.
there you go, Marsigliano's Pizzeria and More, located Cimarron, Sahara, behind the Marie Callender's in the strip mall behind. So good stuff.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Have a fabulous day. Always 702 Goddess, keeping it real.
Rob, say goodbye to our audience.
Hi, audience.
There you go. I'm Aaron P. That is Gypsy G. That's Rob G. Aaron E. Thank you for watching us. All the great information. Please make sure you call Rob to take care of any issues that you may have. As always, let's be kind to each other. Why? We're all we got. See you next week right here on Time to Vegas.